Gentlemen, live from the confines of my dingy and opaque office. We're live and we are bad. How we doing, everybody? What's going down? I'm actually here this Sunday. I wasn't here last Sunday, but I'm here this Sunday. Better late than never, it's what Dad always said. Charlie Roma's in the chat. Howdy, brother. How are you? Danny Boyd's in the chat. He says, damn, curses. Curses. What's going on, guys? What did I miss? Anything cool happen? Anything life-changing? Any potential prophecies come to play? I don't know. First Responder Garage is in the chat. What's going on, brother? How are you, Damien? Yeah, last Sunday I think I got back around probably about an hour later than this. So I was I was a little late to be streaming, but I'm here. I'm here this week, so that's something. Unfinished projects in the chat. First Responder Garage is tired. Yeah, you were working yesterday, right? And then you kind of kept working, so I can imagine you probably didn't get much rest in between all that. Miss Olive Drab is in the chat. Howdy, Olive. How are you? What is going on, people? We see anything interesting? Did anything blow up? You never really know what's going to happen. Barrow's Garage is in the chat. That's so rad you guys got to see Henry Rollins do the whole spoken word thing. I'm going to knock down. Oh, a mosquito repellent. We don't really need that. Let's see if we can turn this. That's better. I'm all tweaked. Oh, poor man 1978 is in the chat. Brother Bear, Mike was telling me you rehomed the horse. The food nerd is in the chat. Howdy, Ma. Jason's Garage is in the chat. What's going on, brother? Landon Custom Classics, Cousin Mike is in the chat. Peking duck? Damn, some duck sounds good, actually. Maybe that's what I should do for Thanksgiving. I'm really lucky. The Asian markets around here have some good duck pretty much anytime you want it. Oh, poor man saying we need rain and cold repellent out here. Barrow's Garage saying, yep, my green HP has gone off to greener pastures. Brother Bear, while you're getting rid of stuff. Just kidding, man. That's cool, though, man. You were saying you hadn't thrown a leg over for a while, so I assume that's a little bit off your mind. The Kickin' Dolls Auto and Random Repairs. What's going on, Mike? How are you, man? Message held for review. What are we reviewing? Danny Boyd saying, and $25 for a fucked up duck. I don't know why it wants to censor people with... I don't know. I wish I could just censor, like, pick a few words to censor, like tang. Barrow's Garage saying, bring a trailer, brother. I'll load it. Oh, man. You just wait, man, until I get a plot of land. I'll be hoarding with the best. As it stands, my storage unit's about to spill out on me if I open it up again, so... Exactly, unfinished projects. See, that's the only word that should be censored on here. Kickendall spent 7 hours yesterday trying to find a trans controller at the junkyard. The original 31-year-old model decided to make the smoke. Damn, son. It's probably not an easy one to find. Barrow's Garage is saying the more you take, the more I can bring in. Yeah, I'm right with you there. People are... I'm pretty quick to, if someone needs something, take it, because I know that I can fill that spot with something different. The thrill of the hunt. Sometimes hoarding is the goal. Kicking down saying not for a 93 Jeep XJ all over eBay for 150 bucks. Oh, that's something. Nathan's Mopar Garage is in the chat. What's going on, Nathan? Mike, I haven't messed with the newer Jeeps much, just not much at all. My buddy's got one. He's got two. He's got a 96 and he's got an 88 Comanche as well. But he's got a good mechanic he goes to. He pays a lot for him, but he's got a good mechanic. Cousin Mike saying, sell the Jeep, you'll be happier. First responder garage saying, hoarding. Yeah, I'm bad, man. I still have 2 spare transmissions. Unfinished saying, around here they won't let the controller go without the whole transmission. I mean, it can't hurt, I guess, to have a spare. Mexican Specs in the chat. What's going on, brother? Mexican Specs asking, what the heck is that in the thumbnail? That's from one of the cheesiest movies I've ever watched called Hell Comes to Frogtown. I don't recommend it. I really don't recommend it. Kicking down saying the 88 and a 96, if they are autos, take the same controller. And heck no, it's a rust-free one-owner XJ. They're cool trucks. I like them. They're quirky. You know what I mean? You got to admit, Mike, it's probably easier for you because you're pretty good mechanic. So my buddy Sam, he just throws his wallet at the mechanic. I'm like, how much did you pay for that? Whatever. Some people do that. I'm just a cheap bastard. Danny Boyd saying, I don't like horror movies anyway. It's supposed to be like some sci-fi kind of end of days, like Mad Max type thing where people have turned into frog people and the human race is dependent on it. Don't watch it. Don't do it. Don't do it. There's one. I mean, the only cool thing in the movie is a Valiant that's set up like a tank. That's kind of cool. Kickendall saying you couldn't pay me to buy a new Jeep. No. Mexican Spec saying the generic vehicles never appealed to me. Like a different style every year. Ah, yeah. First responder garage is saying you have 2 spare transmissions. Call that hoarding. That's just a start, though, brother. You know what I mean? I would have more if I could. Trust me. I mean, I used to have 3, but one of them's in the truck now. If I had more space, though, I would do some serious hoarding. Waving white flags. Charlie Roma saying, here, take all my money. Yeah, exactly. First responder garage is saying, those shocks I did ended up to be $2,000 to rebuild Ford Raptor. Yeah, I guess it's not much. It's a pretty expensive truck, so throwing that much into it isn't a huge deal. But still, that's a pretty decent chunk of change, I think, for most of us. All I'm saying, I've always got to have a car it's possible to love in some way because I'm going to be fixing it anyway. Oh, yeah. You got to, I mean, something you can appreciate. That's the beauty about driving the truck, you know what I mean? It's my mobile happy place. Kickendall saying it's about 40 and raining here in Missouri. It was actually a pretty damn beautiful day. It rained in the morning, and most of the day was around 60-something degrees, sunshine, clouds. It was pretty nice. Not too hot. I was happy with it. Cousin Mike saying I'd take my Geo Tracker over a Jeep, and it ain't much. I couldn't do the Geo Tracker, Mike. I mean, you're badass enough to drive that car, but people saw me driving that car, they think I turned the other way, man. At Zero's in the chat. What's going on, brother? You ready for next weekend? That's going to be fun, man. Come down here and have some sparkling water. Foggy's in the chat. What's going on, man? You listen to some great music, brother. I know. I've known for a while, but it's cool hearing you talk about it a little more. Alva's in the chat. What's going on, Al? I've been waiting for your call, Al. I know you need my help going through that digital crap. Barrow's Garage is saying, best Jeep I ever seen was a Jeep body sitting on top of about $100,000 worth of aftermarket parts. That's there's a lot of truth there. A lot of truth. You change pretty much everything, and they become what they should be. First Responder Garage is saying, shit's going to hit the fan next year. People are tired of certain situations. Hoarding the right things will get you on top. Yeah, man, I'm not in disagreement with you there. I'm trying to get ahead of it. The only thing that holds me back is space and funds, which are kind of under the same issue there. But once I get some space, I'm sure I can put away the funds, and maybe I'll get ahead of that. B&R Racing's in the chat. What's going on, Brian? How are you, man? Kickendall saying, Barrows, just like my old XJs and Comanches, the first big issue I've had since I've owned one. I mean, they run well, you know what I mean? It's just, they got those like Achilles heels parts, and, you know, if you're not ahead of them, and if you're not in the situation to fix them or pay to get them fixed, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff could be crippling, so. George is in the chat. What's going on, brother? How are you, man? You been jamming, playing guitar? Al saying, go up to Azusa Canyon, see what works and what doesn't. Jeeps are good. I mean, like I said, I like them a lot. I like Wranglers a lot. That's probably because, you know, some kind of subliminal Barbie message or something, but I really do like Wranglers. Cousin Mike, your truck's a serious rig, though. It's a 76, right? Unfinished, just stockpiling Cheetos, mac and cheese, jalapeno, and cheddar. Is it that good? Kickendall saying, engine-wise, you can't kill the old 4.0. Only engine I like better was the old Ford 300 inline 6. Yeah, the 4.0 is pretty amazing. Not a lot of power, nothing, but it works. George, I'm doing well, man. Glad to see you always. Held for review. Why does it censor you? Brian saying, holy fuck, it became bad being a mechanic, Ari. See why you had issues at the restoration shop than the diesel shop. Brian, if you're having trouble, man, text me. I might have, because the company I'm working for, their main plant is in Illinois, so I might be able to pull some strings or at least get you a number or something, man. You're more than qualified. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Dan saying Kraft Southern home-style macaroni. Cousin Mike's going to build the new 390. First Responder Garage is saying there's no Jeeps after 75. Barrow's Garage is saying they can be extremely good little rigs, but most people take them way too far and think a Jeep is a Jeep. Yeah. I like the old Willys Jeeps just because they're all square. You know what I mean? That's sheet metal work I could do. There's no shape. I could do that. Kickendall's off to bed. Long-ass day cutting deer meat. I'm jealous, man. Still 31 years old and never had a deer season under my belt. But always glad to see you, Kickendall. Be safe out there. I know you're going to go the speed limit on your bike. No, I'm kidding, man. Be safe, though, brother. Check your fluids. First Responder's got a point there. You're saying a Jeep nowadays is like comparing an H2 to a real Hummer. Yeah, the H1, the original Hummers are badass. At Zero's got a great point here. He's saying Bob Evans mac and cheese, glory behold. At Zero, if you look out in the stores right now, they got a bunch of Bob Evans stuff. They got the mac and cheese. They got like three different kinds of mashed potatoes. There's loaded garlic and the original. They've got stuffing. They've got like broccoli and cheese and all kinds of Bob Evans out there. Buff Del Campo's in the chat saying, I like the Ford Mutt Jeeps. Those ones are badass too. I think if I could choose, I'd like one of those like a 19, I think it's a 56, the Jeep truck I like a bunch. Or the, what is it? What's the one from Tremors? The Jeep truck in Tremors. What did I miss? Are we talking soy? Soy. Is it, I'm not seeing Mopar Man's messages. What is this? John's live? What did I miss? Cousin Mike's brother has a 58 Willys Jeep. That's badass. First responder saying, good point about the sheet metal. It's easy, man. I can do it. No shape. Foggy's Gramps drove a Jeep in World War II. BNR saying, start a new job tomorrow. Been rolling my Snap-on box around in and out lately. Long story. Pretty much I quit. FU. 454 truck drove in early with my car trailer. Load burn off the tires going 90. Jeez, man. That don't sound like fun. Alva saying a J10. Yeah, I think that's what it is. That's a sweet truck. I love that movie too. Yeah, Mopar Man, it's an actual restaurant, isn't it? We've got like the Bob Evans prepared food down here, but we don't have a restaurant. Ryan saying, got hired by an old timer, hired for more money than ever. Hourly 40. That's badass, man. That's good. That's damn good. At Zero's watching The Revenant to feel better. What's it on, dude? I love that movie. Arrow's Garage is saying, now you're talking first responder. The 880 Scouts were unstoppable. The Scout 2, not so much, though. I really like the Scouts. I prefer them to Broncos 100%. I like the way that back window look. They're damn cool. Unfinished project saying, diesels run on soy, so I think about the next time you're chugging some ranch. Seen it soften and eat a hole in the asphalt. Isn't that soybean oil? Don't they use soybean oil to like remove concrete from concrete trucks and stuff? Is that what you're saying? FXM on satellite TV cable. I'm gonna have to look it up. Maybe I can watch it on something. Buff Del Campo saying my sister had a couple of Scouts when she was in college. They're really cool trucks. I don't know a thing about them. A lot of that international stuff is just completely beyond me. But Hope Man saying, yep, it's funny. Our grocery stores, including Walmart, sell Bob Evans mac and cheese, mashed potatoes, and we have the Bob Evans restaurant. They're pretty damn good, man. Those mashed potatoes, especially if you're in a pinch, man, you get some mashed potatoes for a few bucks. Instant mashed potatoes are good too. Don't get me wrong, but Bob Evans are pretty damn good. So you get some for a few bucks and a steak, man. It's a damn good meal. First responder garage is saying everything is sissified. Look at the original Broncos to now. K15 turned to a 2.8. Yeah, that's pretty bad. I would love an old Blazer too. There's the In-N-Out Burger here. The manager had this tricked out 4Runner, and I don't know if he sold it, got rid of it, or what. But what he replaced it with made me laugh. You got a crew cab square body 4x4 lifted up and everything. I'm like, see, it doesn't matter how much money you have. Everybody lands in the same place. Everybody wants something old. At Zero saying, Mopar Man, we had the idea of meeting Bob Evans. Instead of an autograph, just his hands holding the mac and cheese pack. Just his hands. K5 Blazer. Yeah, I hear you, first responder. Some Jimmy Deans. Mexican Spec saying on the West Coast there was Marie Callender's restaurants. They sold pies in the stores. They closed a lot of them, Mexican Spec. I know there's still some out there, but all the local ones that I used to go to are closed. Brian saying I told him 35 and gave me 39, leaving up to 40. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm sure there's not a lot of people rolling around that are that qualified, man. There really aren't. You know, it's. I mean, I work for kind of a newer company, so I can imagine some of the people are underqualified, but a lot of them are just terribly overpaid and underqualified. Which, whatever, you know, it's not my business. But Azusa Canyon, Azusa's pretty damn pretty. Mike Gann 32451 is in the chat. He's saying the Fall Guy, old square body with KC lights. Yeah, buddy. First responder garage is saying, so who watches the semi versus car up against the wall? You think airbags are going to save you? First responder, actually, we threw together a chassis for a test like that the other day. It was we skipped a lot of plumbing and everything on it, and I don't even know if the engine had guts in it or motor had guts in it, but they were going to crash a truck straight into that damn thing. At Zero, we got one on Brookhurst. Where, man? I thought they closed that one. Mexican Spec saying a lot of businesses didn't survive the shamdemic with the government saying they couldn't sell anything. Yeah. First responder garage is saying, hint, hint, everyone dies, there's no insurance payout. It's sinister, but true. As long as you have your helmet. Charlie Rome was saying, airbags, we don't need airbags today. We die like men. Yep. Someone made a comment about that. You know, they were saying if somebody hits me in my truck, I'm going to have a big chiropractor bill or something like that. And I was like, if somebody hits me in my truck and it's that bad and I survive, I'm not going to have to worry about a chiropractor because I'll be in prison because I'll probably dispatch said person. I don't know. I thought it seemed like a kind of out of left field comment, so I had to give him an out of left field answer. GTI Warrior saying overpaid and underqualified. Who's talking about me? I don't know if that applies, man. There's also the overeducated and underskilled. That's a huge one nowadays. How you doing, GTI? How's it going, Chris? How you been? How's it up in the Great White North? Charlie Roma saying, I drive an 80 square body. They're sweet trucks. My pops bought one in Mexico, but like most things that are owned in Mexico, someone else is pretty much using it while you own it, so he doesn't know where it is. But I told him years ago, I was like, no, that truck's going to be worth money. He was like, it's rusty. I'm like, they're all rusty, Dad. Artie, the truck has... Why you drive the truck that has the holes in it? Mexican Spec. Yeah, my pops had, I forget what year it was, but he had a square body down there that he bought. But he does that, though. He says he'll send me a picture of a car and be like, I bought it before he's worked a deal. He did that with a Westfalia that's over here. He said he bought it, and it's still sitting there. The owner's in, like, Bolivia or something. First responder saying cash will be a thing of the past. First responder saying I added up all the taxes we pay on what we make, what we buy, and what we own. Taxes are about 78% of your wages. I believe it, man. They got, oh my God, this last check, because of the overtime, they taxed me more than my old paychecks at the hot rod shop. It was pretty nuts. GTL Warrior saying life's good, brother. More work than time to get it done. Yeah, I feel you there. Barrel's Garage is saying, I'll bet dimes for dollars that Apache has 10 times fewer blind spots than all the 2010 vehicles on the road. Oh, yeah. It's a good truck, Brother Bear. I mean, I really, she's a good truck, especially, with the 80s V8 now, it's like a good blend. It's a good blend of semi-modern and all the antique stuff. So, I mean, I don't know what else I would really want to change. I mean, maybe some disc brakes would be nice or a booster. I don't know. I don't know. It's like I can't think of much. It's so simple that it's hard to I don't know. I can't picture changing too much. It seems like a lateral move at best. First responders saying the more they keep track, the more they make. You're not wrong, man. Buff Del Campo, you can still avoid them paying attention to the rear and having a way out front. Oh, Buff Del Campo saying, Ari, how is that new job? It's been treating me well, man. The hours are good. I got some really solid coworkers. Really solid coworkers. We laugh and have fun. We BS all day, and we get a lot done. I feel like I got a good place over there. You know what I mean? My weird odd job work experience to where I know a little bit of everything is pretty helpful. It makes things flow pretty well, but I'm digging it, man. All I'm saying, we need to tax the rich. Really, the people that say they're cutting taxes don't do it for regular folks at all. Yeah. I mean, yeah. There's always some kind of corporate loophole. You know what I mean? People funneling their money through a nonprofit or whatever it may be. But it's kind of sad, comparatively, how much the average working class person pays compared to people who got a lot more than them. First responder saying some lefty here in LA demanded cash to be able to be used because if not, it's racist. So you'll use your business license in LA. So you lose your business license in LA. You can't work anything out. Andy saying, BNR, good luck tomorrow. Last job promised me 40 plus an hour, never happened, and a ton of drama. I'm off to the second interview tomorrow. Andy's been having some trouble with that, and that's another one too, because you're obviously more than qualified, man. So it's like it's weird that people want to give you the runaround. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if it's like, I mean, if it's not even nepotism at that point. It's like you don't fit their mold. You're not cute enough. I don't know what it is. JB's little shop is in the chat saying, I got a minute. Just stopping in to say hi. How you doing, JB? You keeping it sharp over there, man? You honing? Mexican Spec saying, at zero, a lefty woman in LA County blames Toyota for making it easy to steal the cats on their cars. She won't blame the people stealing. First responders got a great question. You're saying, how's it going up hills now, Ari? Does it turn that hopping and popping and skeeting and yeeting and catch some yonder? It's like night and day, man. It is absolutely night and day. And the V8's so nice, man. You just throw it in gear, you can let it idle, and it's great. The extra power is wonderful, man. And it's such a basic stock build too. The only thing I've changed on the V8's the intake, so it's like there's just the sky's the limit as far as mods or whatever I feel like doing. So it's great, man. I loved my old 6-cylinder. Don't get me wrong. That was a cool thing. I'm glad I learned to use it. I'm glad I worked with it. I did her justice, I feel like. So many people swap them outright. They don't try to use them. They don't try to learn about them. So I was really happy about that. But the V8's it's a good positive change. All I'm saying, that makes no sense. The poor pay more taxes as a percentage than anyone, while people in the billions pay nothing, and some corporations even less. Unfinished is saying flat tax. I'm saying that's why the Republicans want to cut IRS funding so they can't go after hundreds of billions in unpaid taxes by billionaires, corporations. GTI Warrior saying taxation is theft. If there must be a tax, make it a flat percentage, no exceptions. JB saying, dang, first responders in here? Oh, yeah. First responders in here. First responder saying, JB, go bench press the transmission. Some of those overdrives are damn heavy, man. I don't know if you want to do that. Your house agenda, you guys are talking about. BNR saying, last job they wouldn't give me my W-4. Federal forms already tricked me hired as a subcontractor. Oh, fun time. So they're doing 1099? That's a scam and a half. Danny Boy saying, come over to the dark side, Olive. First responder garage is saying $100 turbo will wake its ass up. You talking about the 4.3 or the old or the 350? I guess if I ran a small amount of boost, I wouldn't have to change much. Oh, he's talking about the S10. Hills, to your face, I laugh at thee. V8. Processing rather than corporate media helps. First responder saying that 700 is heavy. JB has a hell of a left hook. Yeah, those things are. What's the other one? The 204R. Those things are pretty damn heavy too. And either of those overdrives are just. They're pretty damn heavy. The SM420 in the truck's like 135 pounds, I think. And it's not the easiest to manipulate in that weird little space between the frame rails. But I managed to do it. Abel D's in the chat saying, hello, world. What's going on, Abel? How are you, man? JB's little shop saying, first responder garage, don't worry. It's going to do okay. We will see if it runs good tomorrow. Yeah, I'm not big on not big. I love automatic transmissions, don't get me wrong. But for my personal use, I prefer the gearboxes. It's just simpler, less plumbing. You know, I try to keep it, if I could keep it as simple as I am, you know what I mean? I feel like we'll be doing all right. BNR saying, Aunt D, thanks. Got 3 backup jobs in the work yet. One at O'Hare Airport, Chicago GSA, ground equipment mechanic. Hey, as long as you got something in your hands and they're paying you decent, man. I know it's tough sometimes. It's weird out there. All of saying, I don't mind auto when in 4-wheel drive. Usually plenty going on. Yeah. Abel, I did not catch the Baja 1000. I'm a shut-in, man. Mexican Spec saying, I just posted a nice little, sorry, you already wrote that one, man. He posted a nice 1988 GMC S15 4x4 X cab. That is here. It's a really nice truck for $7,000, delivered to the border, 4.3 automatic. Is local to me. Yeah, man, if I wouldn't have so much trouble smogging it, I'd buy it. I don't really have money to be slinging around at other cars, though. If I had that much cash, I'd probably just throw it into the truck, you know. Barrel's Garage is saying, you buy a new car for $40,000, pay the interest, it's $50,000, then toss full coverage insurance onto it. You're into it, all said and done, around $55,000. Miles per gallon pros don't add up to that Apache out the door. Yeah, you're right there. And she does pretty decent on the gas, I feel like. And that's even with the Quadrajet pretty badly tuned. So, I mean, I feel like with a little love, I could be doing all right, you know. Yeah, you saying, BNR saying you got to have backup plans? That's for sure. First responder garage is saying, JB, if your son is still looking for a decent S10 500, no rust, has a 2.8 manual. Manuel. JB saying, that's right, you're in Cali. It's definitely weird. Oh, yeah, man, it's a strange place. You got this odd blend of people who can barely scrape by living here, and then the people who've just got, these money bags people, and it's different. It's different for sure. But I lack perspective. You know what I mean? I've dipped my toes into the South for a few months. I've been up to the Pacific Northwest, which is also pretty damn weird. First responders say new car for 40,000. What is this? 2015. Try more of these. Yeah, 60. Why is 60,000 like the buy-in nowadays for even just real basic stuff? I feel like, and everything looks the same. It's the same crossover, the same amenities, the same colors. You know what I mean? There's not anything. 100,000 4xe Jeep everywhere. I would never. I can't do it. Yeah, I don't know. I like. Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean. If I had a little more money, I wouldn't mind. I would love to have a Ram with a Cummins, but it would probably be more money and more trouble than it's worth. Everybody's got that one kind of gaudy thing they want, I feel like, and that would be for me. That would be it. Just something nice, heavy duty work truck. I could tow around cars with it. Go take it out on the mud. Go camping with the kid and stuff. Something like that would be cool. BNR's going to sleep. He's saying up at 4 a.m. Hey, me too, man. Me too. Around 4:30, but it's later over there. So have a good night, brother. Always appreciate seeing you, and hope the job goes well. Best of wishes there. Hope they pay you right. Lord knows you're worth it, man. So, yeah, good luck, brother. Enjoy your week. Be safe. Be positive. Try to save a little bit of tread on the tires. And make sure to check your fluids, man. BNR saying 454 Chevy or Cummins diesel. Yep. 98,000 MSRP on 4xe Rubicon. That's 100,000 easy without add-ons. It's horrible. You guys are talking. Oh, you guys are getting all political again. I told you, Mopar man, Olive, if you guys have another political battle, you're going to have to solve it with Kung Fu. And I don't know. I know Mopar man's Kung Fu is strong. I know it is. But I don't know if he has weapons training like Olive. So Olive might nunchuck you. So despite both of you guys presenting a great argument, if it comes down to Kung Fu, maybe different. First Responder Garage is saying manual is always good, always a good worker, just not dealers are having 10-year payment plans. Oh, add up the interest on 10 years. Oh, wait, there is a gap insurance, rag it out, and then crash it. Insurance will cover it. Oh, goodness. Unfinished is saying, bunch of fools arguing Democrat, Republican are two sides of the same coin. Yeah, laugh all the way to the... Yeah, the division's kind of a shitty thing. It is kind of an oligarchy. And, you know what I mean? It just... I don't feel like anybody, either side really has the average person's best interest in mind. GTI Warrior saying nunchucks are a garbage weapon. Saying Ari leans red. I guess so. I'm pretty damn open-minded, though. First Responder Garage is saying, choose the side that keeps things in-house and things will get better. Harold's Garage is saying, the only Kung Fu I know is Wang Chung. All I'm saying, dealers are a racket either way. Yeah, that's for sure. Mopar Man saying, I've studied with different martial arts weapons. I'm just a student, not a master. Allow me to demonstrate the skill of Shaolin, the special technique. Oh, man. No, I appreciate you guys. Ad Zero saying, seen 367 for gas in Arizona. That hurt. Like, could you imagine? Yeah, that's about half, man. That's like about half what we're paying. I'll be able to get around a little more. I pay a lot of money for gas. I was real tempted to take the train to work because I could. It'd just be a little more footwork and a little bit more waiting around. but it would save me a good amount. But not driving the truck would probably depress me. What my ASP baton do? Batons are great. Great. That's a great tool to have. That's a great tool to have. Mopar man, he was talking about the band. Dizzy Izzy's in the chat. See, my chi is centered and strong. Fair warning. How you doing, Dizzy Izzy? How's it been, man? How's the Angry Vagrant? Dave Lewis is saying, I know the most powerful martial art. Ching ching. How's it going, Dave? Still on all the winter projects? Everybody bringing their stuff in? Oh, yeah. The 3 sectional staff, dragon staff. Taekwon leap. Yeah, I never did any of the weapons training, any of that stuff. That was there was a fight shop that sold that kind of stuff locally, but I never. If I bought it, it would have just sat in a corner, or I probably would have gotten arrested for having it, living where I live. Oh man. Charlie Roma saying, dragon snaps his tail. Dizzy Izzy saying, gas here in Missouri is $2.90 to $3.50. See, that's pretty reasonable. Andy's saying, dealers suck. Look at the '08 Ranger with 149,000 miles for $7K. Needed $1,000 of parts to pass MA inspection. Massachusetts inspection. That sucks, man. That's just not a good price. It's like, what happened? It's kind of funny to me because like my old Corolla is worth like twice what it used to be for some reason. It's not like it got any nicer. Dave Lewis is rebuilding a Sprint chassis. That sounds fun, man. I always like chassis work. As long as someone smart like you is doing the math, then I can pretty much get it together. All I'm saying, might be a little creaky and old for some of those boot to the head moves. At Zero saying, Muay Thai, knife rage, and being married. I am a weapon. That's right. At Zero studied Kali with old JD. You guys are weird dudes. GTI Warrior saying, living where you live, you'll get arrested if you breathe wrong. You're not wrong, man. Certain parts of this county are like, it's like Singapore or something. You know what I mean? You look the wrong way, you're in trouble. Massachusetts inspections are out of hand, all I'm saying. Because too many fudge too hard. Yep, that's around here it's like that too. People mess with the system enough to where, like the city I used to live in, you couldn't have yard sales except for like 3 scheduled weekends a year or something like that. I think it was 6 maybe. But because people would just be running shops out of their front yard. Barrow's Garage is saying, I learned shop foo. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a dodge. Opar Man saying it's basically a staff made into 3-foot long pieces. They're joined with 4-inch pieces of chain. Oh, I know what you're talking about. I've seen them in movies. Dizzy Izzy's talking. We learned bare naked choke strikes and blocks when I was 12. Didn't you say you knocked out a cop? Andy's saying found an almost identical Ranger with the same mileage for 3,510 minutes on Facebook Marketplace. My buddy is taking a look at it tomorrow. Nice. Those are pretty good trucks, the old Rangers. Hat Zero saying you'd surprise him with, here's your 40 ounce. Smoke this joint. Now we train. And chucks are illegal in California. They sure are. First responder garage is saying Singapore will soon be here if people keep being influencers and not look up from the black mirror to see what's happening. Yeah, pretty much, man. Dizzy Izzy saying, yep, knocked his ass out when I was 15. Barrow's garage is saying Colorado was the first state that someone came up to me while smoking a joint to tell me I couldn't smoke on the sidewalk. People are weird about cigarettes, man. It's kind of funny. Depression because they don't like free enterprise. Izzy saying he's beating on me and I lost it. I've got no judgment, man. It's a trippy story. I feel like if I had knocked out a cop when I was 15, I'd still be locked in a hole somewhere. That's your saying, dude. I hated that. Sweat and beer, fighting. First responder garage is saying, stop it. People are weird. Yeah. Yeah, it's not. I don't know. You know what I mean? It seems like a big pecking party while all of our little liberties are kind of taken away slowly but surely. But I don't know. I just try to. I just go to work, do what I can, try to help who I can. Unfinished project saying, you want to fight? Why don't you stick your head up my ass and fight for air? Dino's saying, Dino, I don't even know if I greeted you, Dino. Dino Futurino. It's in the chat. Has been in the chat. The star of the chat. Saying a cop's got to know his limitation. Mopar Man saying a large wide Sharpie marker makes a great jabbing self-defense weapon. Legal jabbing self-defense weapon, especially on pressure point areas of the throat. I don't know about all that, man. At Zero saying for a long time, Huntington Beach had the record for one cop for every 100 citizens. So many cops. Yeah. And the neighborhood that I grew up in, that At Zero lived in for a long time, was kind of smack dab in the middle of it all because it ran on the same street as the main station. And it was also a block away from a substation. And then there was another substation at the mall just a few streets down from that. So there was just tons and tons of police traffic. So if something went down in our neighborhood, there was usually about 15 cops there before you could blink, which, may work in your favor depending on the situation, but for us was kind of inconvenient. I don't know how else to say that. Dean saying, I was asking about one hump or two humps in a coffee, 2 lumps of sugar. No sugar in a coffee, man. Black. Because you're black, sir. I was saying pressure point stuff's useful. You can use lots of things. Unfinished saw some camels today, both varieties. They're pretty cool animals. They're weird. They look all wrong, but they're cool animals. My grandpa was actually given, I think, 6 camels to marry my grandma. Yeah, Baba Mohsen, Maman Farouk. So I think she came with 6 camels. I don't know how many goats. But there was definitely a business trade involved. Danny Boyd saying dowry. I'm totally kidding. My Persian grandma looks a lot like Grandpa Munster. And everybody thinks that I'm joking around or being an ass when I say that, but she looks just like Grandpa Munster. GTI Warrior saying, I like my women how I like my coffee, sweet and creamy. GTI Warrior, I like my women how I like my coffee, brown, full flavored, but also bitter. No poor man saying, someone once told a YouTuber you can't kill the boogeyman with a gun. Said, yes, you. And the guy said, yes, you can if you use a big gun. I don't know. At Zero saying this week they've been out. Yeah, I mean it's that time of year, right? They got to get their quota. Unfinished projects saying some people are like magnets. Mexican specs saying at Zero, I drove 800 kilometers north and another 800 kilometers south. Saw exactly no highway patrol cars and 3 National Guard cars the whole trip. Who lives in the free country? I've been saying that for a while, Mexican spec. You know, to have some freedom, you got to go down to Mexico. Charlie Rome was saying, Grandpa Munster. I met him in Staten Island. Badass, man. That's pretty damn cool. It'd been cool to meet Fred Gwynn, too. Barrow's Garage is saying, there was a time that I would have traded my daughter for 2 Slim Jims and a short rope, but the wife said she would grow out of it. Luckily, she did. At Zero, I forgot to tell you that the Hungarian guy I work with, I was talking to him about, because his wife's Romanian. So I was like, hey, dude, I'm like, has your wife ever told you about the Striegel? And he's like, what the hell are you talking about, man? Because he knows I'm always leading up to something or setting him up for some kind of joke. And I was like, the Striegel, man. You never heard about the Striegel? And I was like, he's like, what do you mean? What is that? And I was like, I don't know. It's some Romanian monster that steals children in the night or something. And he's like, you idiot. He's like, that's a Strigoi. And I was like, so you do know what I'm talking about. You're trying to mislead me here. And he's like, no, you stupid. He's like, a Strigoi is a bird. He's like, it's just an owl. And he's like, Google it right now. And I was like, okay, so I Google Strigoi. And this like Nosferatu monster comes up, and he's like, you messed with that. You did something. And he Googles it. The same thing comes up. I'm like, see, what are you trying to throw me off the trail here? You trying to keep secrets? I'm like, what kind of gypsy secrets are you keeping? And so I was like, so what's the Striegel? I was like, is that like a pastry or something? And he's like, Striegel is nothing, you idiot. And I kept calling the Strigoi the Striegel, and it was pissing him off. So it was pretty great. Dizzy Izzy saying, I like them like I like my pancakes. Sweet and sticky. Damn, son. Adzero saying, I just hate to drive slow. That's not me. Buff Del Campo saying, I drove all the way from Tennessee to Oregon and back. Saw 3 cops on the whole trip. Not bad, man. And D, I'm not sure which ship that was, but that's the like plasma imprint from a Japanese Zero flying into the armored portion of the hull. It's if for people who didn't see, it's just a picture of the ship's hull, and it's got this black outline of a plane, but it was from a kamikaze pilot flying into the armored portion of the hull, and it just vaporized the plane and left the outline of it. And my joke is that when I see the inverted flag on a Toyota truck, that's the opposite of the American flag on the Toyota truck. That's what 2 hacks would say. Roma's secret. First responder garage saying I had all kinds of coffee. They all make you jittery and constipated. Buff Del Campo saying Virginia has cops everywhere, and anything over 80 miles per hour is reckless driving. It's only 10 over. Sketchy. Mexican spec saying going north there were 6 military revisions though. Maybe that is why they don't need the highway patrol. First responder garage saying best coffee is an import from a poor country. Yeah. Unfinished project saying my great uncle was at Pearl Harbor. Grandpa was there. He was on the USS Oklahoma. And yeah, that's quite the day. I mean, imagine, yeah, it's like I was working on the day of infamy, you know. But yeah, that's it's I think it's a funny joke. You know what I mean? This whole like plasma outline of a Japanese zero on the American ship versus the inverted American flag on a Japanese truck. It's opposite of each other. Arrow's Garage is saying, I hear they had to finally cancel the annual kamikaze reunions for lack of attendance. The Huns. At Zero saying, lots of proud patriots here with huge flags waving from their Toyota trucks. But being confused about your loyalty is also very American. God bless them. Oh, man. Oh, man. Yeah, they've got the not just an American flag, but it's like the Toyota truck comes with an inverted American flag. It's like, I don't know. Unfinished project saying my uncle's ears were burnt off. The water had fire on it, but he had to come up for air. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's insane to hear. You don't think about it much. You're like, okay, a bunch of ships got bombed, people died, ships sank. But it's like people were trapped in the ships. There were crews trying to cut people out of the ships, and they die from suffocation from the oxyacetylene, you know, all kinds of floating bodies, sharks eating people. You've got, you know, horrible things like your uncle getting burnt, you know, and then even after the fact, you know what I mean, people were still dying for days trying to, you know, waiting to be rescued. And they, like for the USS Oklahoma, they brought in a crew that put these crazy, I forget what they're called, some kind of crane, some kind of rigging from the shore to try to turn the ship back up onto its side so it could be repaired. It's pretty crazy to read about. Unfinished project saying his face was okay but lost his ears. Yeah, they burn up pretty quick. First responder garage is saying, I know a stunt guy that was in the Pearl Harbor movie. He also did a guy walking off of the beam of a high rise at the beginning of a movie. Took 15 takes. There was no reaction. The actual height was 15 feet. Tethered to a harness. I forget you work with all the movie stuff, man. That's pretty badass. I'm going to end up out here one of these days, man. Able D saying, I love every 4th joining the local parade on Landy, and everyone saluting me and telling me, cool Jeep. Nice. Holden Man TC is in the chat. How you doing, Holden Man? How's it down under? Cat, don't stop. No, cat. Tss, tss. Don't make me get the spray bottle. Don't. I will spray you while I'm live streaming. Mexican Spec saying, I don't know, Ari. They film movies everywhere but L.A. True. I mean, that kind of sucks because it didn't used to be the case. They used to film almost everything out here. You know, I was just watching Phantasm. I'm sure you guys have seen Phantasm. Buff Del Campo saying cats understand. Dizzy Izzy saying, enjoyed most of my naval service, signed a contract for 6 years. Next would have been sub school. Being on a sub would be insane, man. That seems like, I mean, a lot of those guys are like next level, like alien level technology. But first responder garage is saying cats understand water. Yes, they do. The spray bottle is. Olive saying all the coffee talk made me need to make some. Thing I would too, but I'll be up all night. I got work early. Unfinished project saying I haven't, but I know what it is. Unfinished. It's on the Tubi app right now, so you can watch it for free with ads. It's a great movie. There's like 5 of them or something. I think it's but in Phantasm, there's a scene where the guy pulls up. I think it's a '71 Cuda. It's a 340 car, but he pulls up to this place called the Dunes Cantina. And the cantina itself, the rest of the movie was filmed in like Julian, California, Oakland, up north, but the Dunes Cantina was in Huntington Beach, which is where I'm from. So I thought it was really cool, just that this one kind of one-off scene in the movie with the Cuda pulling up to, a place that was, I think it was like a sushi spot or a Taco Bell or something when I was a kid. I don't know what it is now, but the address is still there. But I thought that was pretty damn cool. Older Man TC sold his 57 wagon. What are you going to get now, man? Andy's saying Drachnafel has really good videos of Oklahoma and the Pearl Harbor recovery. Yeah, I was going to mention that, Andy. Drachnafel. That's a great channel with the naval history. I used to watch those a lot more. I used to watch a lot more YouTube, but I don't know what happened. I started making videos and then I got busier, so it's because I used to work nights. That's how I would wind down. It's just watching YouTube videos. But now that I don't have much time. First Responder Garage is saying all this coffee talk makes you want to get a new girlfriend. Mexican Spec saying, I didn't know if there was a Cuba in the movie. My buddy's hearse was in it. Yeah, there was one of them that had a bunch of hearses, but I think the main one they used was like a 68 Cadillac funeral coach, which is a beautiful car. Mopar Man saying 346 pack. Yep. And then they did another movie where the same character's got a 70 Cuda, but I think it's got a Hemi with dual quads in it. If I'm not mistaken. I lose track of my Mopars. Andy's saying both my grandfathers were in the Navy, one in the Pacific, and one in the Atlantic. That's pretty badass. Buffdo Campo saying there's so much content on YouTube. I don't have time to watch all the stuff I want to see. That's true. I try to keep up with everybody's videos that I can. I usually, I watch most of Tony's videos. If Cousin Mike puts something out, I like watching that. Brother Bear just did a great video about Chevy distributors, which I appreciate, man. And just stuff like that, I try to keep up. If you guys put out shorts, I try to watch them, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just too manic or whatever to sit down and really watch the videos I want to. Dean Stevenson saying, I cared for a Navy submarine guy at the rest home. I used to report to him each shift. He was great until he tried to strangle the electrician who had dementia. Oh, geez. What did the electrician do, though? Did he set him off? Ad Zero saying, submarines. Someday I'll be old enough to start and finish a submarine movie. Someday I will feel of age to finally do it. Oh, yeah, movies like that throw me off. The only 2 movies I like that are set in the same room or same kind of scenery, really, are the Tarantinos. Is Hateful Eight and Reservoir Dogs, of course. Mexican Specs. I'm talking about the one with the flying silver ball. Yeah, most of the movies had the flying orbs, the balls. But there was one where they had I think it was 3 or 4 where they had a whole gang of hearses, all different years. But the original hearses they used were 68s. Dizzy Izzy saying, one of 4 that tested high enough, they told me, one of presidential awards is downstairs somewhere. That's pretty badass. Older Man TC saying, I might buy a Holden Commodore Ute SV6. I'm unenlightened, man. I got to look it up. Buff Del Campo saying, Holden Commodore Ute. I wish I could get one of those in the U.S. All I'm saying, I like Drachnifel to leave on while waiting for sleep. It's interesting enough, but I don't actually have to give a crap about it much. Yeah, definitely. All the same, my dad was a Marine, though between wars. Marine's a Marine. Dean saying, yeah, set him off. I believe it. Hold a man TC saying, I finished school on Wednesday forever. No way, man. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome, man. Assuming that you're finishing properly, you're not just giving them the boot. Either way, do what you got to do, I guess. But that's pretty cool, brother. Izzy saying, I've had a crazy life. Yeah, you got some good stories, though, man. It's cool. We still got you. Cheers, brother. Oh, man. Definitely grateful that it's really cool to have such seasoned people in here. You know what I mean? I can bounce stuff off you guys, and I learn a good bit. So Izzy got to meet Buff at the No Name Nationals. It would be fun to get down there and meet some folks. And DC and hologram, I get you. Try to have Drachnifel or something like that on when making coffee and prepping lunches. Buff Do Campo saying, I've had El Caminos and Rancheros. I like those cars. It's a pretty handy, it's a very convenient format. You know what I mean? It's like you got this car, but you can still throw some stuff in the back. Unfinished projects laughing. Only Man TC saying, I'm finishing 12 school on Wednesday. Nice, man. That's cool, man. I knew you were a younger guy. I didn't know you were that young. That's awesome. You're messing with all the cars and everything. You said you were working on Mercedes cars too, just detailing, right? Mexican Spec saying, are the original Phantasm movies had a 66 Superior Cadillac side surface hearse? That was the one my buddy rented to them for the shoot. I know they had a few. I know they blew up a few probably for each movie too, so that was kind of... It's hard seeing them wreck the Cuda, too. Really, really hard to see. I don't care what kind of cars you like. A Cuda's a badass car. Especially a 340 Cuda. My God. Danny Boyd saying, I was happy when I was done with school. Yeah, I didn't really, get done with school. I got kicked out. I was done with school long before I was done with school. I tried to... They wouldn't let you drop out. And I think I wasn't, there was something I had to pay to take my GED, or I didn't qualify to take my GED yet. And I was really ready to just start some college courses and start working. But I had to go through some other crap because I was younger. It was a high school exit exam, which was technically more difficult than the GED for some reason, despite that's what you have to take when you're less experienced. I don't know. So I failed that a couple times, was just begrudgingly in school until I got expelled. Mexican Spec saying, the hearse that was not blown up was not the one he rented. I'm not a fan of the Cudas or Challengers. I really like a Cuda. It's a pretty badass car, man. I like those kind of fastback, assy cars, for lack of a better way of saying. I really like Mach 1s too. Torinos. Older man TC saying, I'm finishing 12-year on Wednesday. I got a job on a farm. Nice, man. It don't sound bad either. I applaud younger people who are actually working hard and everything, All I'm saying, I finished high school as a runaway. As they're saying, Olive showed them lames. I mean, if you got it in you, do it. I did not have the discipline. I was tired of being treated like a kid. I just wanted to work, I didn't want to go to school dances or be cute or nothing. I had my own set of friends. I didn't really like people from high school. I wasn't into it. Is he saying he's the only one of his family to go to college 2 years? More than I did. I had myself signed up for community college courses so I could start cooking. I had it was introduction to hospitality and a couple other classes so you could learn kind of how a restaurant functions and how to cook. I don't think they would have been that helpful, but it was still a step in the right direction. I probably could have made some money like that, but what are you going to do? I still cook. Just never really did it for a living. Mexican spec saying, me too, Ari. I didn't like the school schedule. My life started the day I graduated high school. Yeah. Everybody says, oh, those are the best days. They go to their reunions and stuff. I'm like, no, I don't want to see nobody. The two guys I like from high school, I think one of them, they're not around. They're not around anymore. First responder garage is saying, I don't get it. 340 is just a 318 crank and a 360 block with a set of half shell bushings for the crank to fit the block. See, I didn't know that. I just like it. I like a small V8. I mean, I really do. And I mean, at zero's 318, really, it's a pretty dang, it's a quick little car. So I can imagine a little difference with the displacement there might. Hold a man TC is saying, please come down to Victoria. Man, if I ever get the chance, I will. I will definitely go down there. I want to see it. And Zero saying, I made up 2 failed years, so 4 years of school. They asked if I wanted to walk with them to get my diploma. I said no, mail it. First responder garage is saying, Magnums have that rod that handles 800 from the factory. See, I'm unenlightened, man. I mean, you're helping me out. You're enlightening me, but I'm currently unenlightened. So let me grab my handkerchief real fast. I got nose dribble. Excuse me, guys. I'm feeling a whole lot better, but my nose is still dribbly. Aunt D saying, got to call it a night. Checking fluids. That 08 Ranger for 7K had a pitch black auto trans. Oh, my goodness. Good brown gravy. Andy, thanks so much for stopping in, brother. I always appreciate you. I hope everything goes well with the car hunt, with the job hunt, everything else, man. I only wish you the best. I'm sure you'll do well just the same. But have a great week, man. Be safe out there. And you're already checking your fluids, so you're on the right track, man. Appreciate you always. Mexican Spec saying my 40th reunion is next year. Damn, son. Dizzy Izzy saying I was one of 6 kids. I wanted a breakfast. I had to make it. Yep. Dean saying my mom is one of 8. That's badass. My mom's one of 5, but a lot of the family was kind of out of state or kind of displaced. And I only got the one brother. All I'm saying, I got into my Ivy League schools. Couldn't pay for them though. It's a damn shame. Dan saying I used to smoke pot every day before school, drank before school a few times. Damn. Charlie Roman saying I like my 346 pack and my square body Dodge. It's a pretty sweet setup. Buff saying nose dribble. It's a cat. Could be. I'm just allergic to him after all these years. All of saying nose bugs seem to be going around. Yeah, when you emailed me, you said you were feeling a little under the weather. I remember that. Older man TC saying I overheated in the middle of traffic in Geelong. My Utes old. Yeah, sometimes that'll happen. My truck was getting warm the other night. It was rush hour here, which is already bad. And then there was a bad accident on the freeway, so I took the streets, and I guess GPS had everybody taking the streets. So it was pretty bad. I was annoyed. There was a lot of clutching. Excuse me. Yeah, I did horrible in school. I was not into it. I mean, I always tested well. I was learning. It was just boring. So damn boring. It was. Obviously, I'm not sure if this is lingering cold or allergies or maybe the big landfill fire that's been burning a few days upwind up here. Olive, that's another thing too, right up from my work. You can look it up online. One of the big, there's two giant hangars out here. They're landmarks. They're old Zeppelin blimp hangars, and one of them burnt down. And they're, of course, built in the 40s, which, they used the greatest substance ever made, asbestos. It was the safety standard back then. They did as best as they could. But I think that might be playing into it too, because I was feeling better, and then that fire burned, and then the next day I wasn't feeling better, so that might have something to do with it. They're giant hangars too. They're giant hangars. At Zero saying the largest. Yeah, that's right. It's the largest open air space, open, like wide open building in the world. I think is what they said, if I'm not mistaken. And one of them caught fire. Hold a man, TC's going to work. Hold a man, thanks for stopping in, brother. We appreciate you. Make sure to check your fluids. But yeah, they're these insane and just monolithic, insanely huge buildings. And yeah, one of them burnt down. And Hubie was explaining to me that the aerial ladders that the fire department has reach up about 7 stories, and that the crest of the hangar was about 17 stories high. So there was pretty much nothing they could do to fight this fire. And of course, they had helicopters dumping water on the roof, but it's a roof. It's meant to repel water, so it's not truly doing anything. So it was a real shitstorm, for lack of a better way of saying. But seeing that giant structure burnt down to nothing was pretty insane. It reminded me of like Star Wars or something, the Death Star. It was just giant, monolithic, huge structure. And there's 2 of them, so one remains intact, but the other is gone now. I guess they had to let it burn away basically because there was almost nothing they could do about it. There's several articles on it, but it was strange to see. I drove right past it, and it was. I almost wanted to pull over and take a picture. Maybe I will if I get a chance, just because if they tear it down. And there's a lot of speculation that because the area is so heavily, it's being heavily developed right now, that the Irvine company, who runs a lot of what goes on down here in South Orange County, may have had something to do with it. Anyway, sorry. Danny Boyd saying, unfinished project, call it what it is, parentheses. Oh, geez. Tall enough to create weather, like small clouds inside and make rain. Rose Garage is saying, I found that the best friends to have are ones that like different things. If you're a Chevy guy, find a Ford and a Mopar guy. Ford and a Mopar friend. You will always get the good deals. Oh, hell yeah. No, Mexican spec, not over there. I forget what that's called. I know what structure you're talking about. That's Long Beach. Yeah, at Zero saying El Toro Air Force Base, Irvine, California. Unfinished is saying it's great except the mesothelioma thing. Dean saying, I left school to train as an apprentice land surveyor. I liked school, loved land surveying even more. To land survey in Wanaka, Queenstown, and Cromwell in central Otago, New Zealand was great. That's pretty cool stuff. Olive saying that's some news I didn't actually catch. Yeah, Olive, it's pretty interesting. They're just giant structures. They've been in a few movies, like in Austin Powers when they've got the VW time machine that's filmed in one. They were in the Pearl Harbor HBO series. But yeah, the one structure's been burning for a couple weeks. Buff Del Campo saying, Dean Stevenson, I figured you were a mechanical engineer or aero engineer. Dean's one of those. Dean's probably cumulatively a genius for sure. So, Ad Zero just linked a news clip for the hangar fire. Is he saying my last year in the Navy was a shore patrol and worked at the incinerator above the San Diego subpin, which I patrolled. That's a cool area, isn't it? Beautiful, beautiful, and that San Onofre, the like it's decommissioned now, but the nuclear power plant that was in San O, it's placed on this giant like underwater canyon, obviously so they could draw in the coolest water possible from the deepest portion of that underwater canyon. But it's there's a lot of sharks around there, so they'll have like mako fishing tournaments and everything else. It's pretty cool place. Buff Del Campo saying Kim was a survey instrument operator. Kim's another one of those people, really clever person. You know what I mean? It's a Ed Zero saying it's a short one. Yeah, check it out if you guys are interested. It's like I said, it was insane to drive by it. I was looking by it and I had kind of just a complete look of awe. You know what I mean? That something so big could be destroyed like that. You know, and they just Hubie described it as one of those fires, especially from a firefighter's perspective. It was one of those things that you kind of dread happening during your career. So I mean, it was. And then, of course, with the asbestos burning and everything else, it's probably something that those guys will suffer from towards the end of their careers. But it was really cool hearing Hubie's perspective about it because obviously the firefighter's perspective is kind of what you need to hear when you're talking about a giant fire. But just the same. Dan saying just reading them survey legal descriptions is mind-boggling. Some smart people out there, man. It's all beyond me, that's for sure. Dean saying I did New Zealand, certified land surveyor, and then moved to civil engineering. It's pretty badass. Unfinished, I was tempted to, man. I mean, I don't know what it would do. I saw the fire from the freeway the morning it happened, and it looked huge. And because of the whole EV thing, I was like, okay, work caught fire, but it wasn't work. It was a giant hangar. And again, there's a lot of speculation that the Irvine company somehow set the fire because they want the land to develop. And it's not hard to believe when you take a look around the area, because they've pretty much bulldozed that entire. It used to be nothing out there really. Orange groves, as far as the eye could see, there was nothing out there, and now the whole thing is, those com block hipster apartments and track homes and everything else of the sort. Yeah, the mask. I mean, it's got its place, and I almost wouldn't mind wearing it at work, but I don't know. I think I'd rather die. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Izzy saying I thought it was the Jewish space lasers. No, I mean very seriously, the Irvine company's kind of again, they own a lot of, like, they have the water rights in certain parts of South Orange County. They own a significant portion of the land, and they're kind of, I mean, the same thing, kind of like corporatized gangsters to a certain degree. You know what I mean? You're definitely paying up to them. If you live in there, you're definitely paying up to the Irvine company. Ad Zero saying leaving the scene was an organic ant killer company. They used big magnifying glass. Wasn't available for questions. Yeah, I mean, like I said, you know what I mean. It's not. It's one of those. It could falls under the category of conspiracy, I guess, but it's pretty damn believable. I mean, the things have been there for decades through thick and thin and every kind of condition. You know what I mean? It's not. But yeah, it threw me off. You know what I mean? Because that was something that was pretty cool down there. I remember driving by there with my lady and the boy and seeing the giant hangars, and they're pretty magnificent. You know what I mean? So it's a shame to lose one. It really is. Be cool if they rebuilt it. I don't think that's happening though. I wonder how much that would cost nowadays. The hell would they even make it out of? Asbestos again. Yeah, it was an old. I think at zero. I think it was built during World War II. It was because they used zeppelins to survey for Japanese subs. Sand Mountain Ballistics is in the chat. Howdy, Hunter. Unfinished is asking, so what's my next project on the Apache? I don't know. Unfinished. I kind of want to go through the brakes and the rear end. I got a leaky axle seal, and I figured, if I'm in there, I really might as well replace the bearings as well as the seals. Um, but I'm kind of focused on brakes next. I installed a speedo cable today with my son, which was pretty cool. He was just hanging around and watching, but just the same, I like having him around when I do that kind of stuff. But I threw a new speedo cable in, not one that I pulled off a junk car this time. So we'll see how long this one lasts. It's the same speedometer, but it's a different transmission, so we'll see if it even works. I don't know. I haven't tested it yet. I just threw it in, and then we went out for some cheeseburgers. So it was kind of cool just working with him. But I think I might do some brake work, run some new probably run some new hard lines. I'm running on old rusty crap, and I could do better than that. So I figured that might be the next stop. Um, all of a sudden, I guess since they have to clean up the asbestos anyway, maybe rebuild could make sense if there's a use. As you're saying, lasers can be seen. French military parade. It's not conspiracy. How stupid. Dudes walking with lasers and power cell in tow. Yeah. We finally reached Star Wars days. Huh? That's kind of cool. Barrow's Garage is saying finding a good double flare tool is these days is tough. I'm an ass, brother Bear. I'll run a single flare on my stuff. I'm just like, it's mine. You know what I mean? When's it gonna fail? Brakes fail. I guess I would just need the separate bit for my little Imperial kit, but I'm really not a big fan of the hydraulic kits. People love those things. I do not like those hydraulic flare tools. They piss me off. I'm so angry by the time I get a flare done that I don't even want to do anything. I'm just like, no bending, just Barrow's Garage doesn't like me. Yeah, I mean, if I wanted to spend all day doing it, maybe. But I just have the old twist style Imperial kit, and it seems to work pretty well for me. Hunter saying I've been wanting to buy the Eastwood flare kit. If it's Eastwood, it's probably good. Pharaoh's Garage saying it takes so too damn long. Oh, it's like it's maddening, man. I could imagine you've been through 5 cigarettes by the time you get a line done. Izzy saying I got to replace my fuel pump and going to try electric power steering on the Vagrant out of an Equinox, smallest I've found. Dean saying they make you flare up, Ari. I, I just don't like him. It was like because I was kind of forced to use one at Ray's shop, and because he thought it was some like amazing tool, and I felt like I just got the same damn results, but it took me way longer, which I should have been fine with being hourly, but it pissed me off. Dave Lewis is saying Rigid Tools is still USA made flaring tools. Rigid makes great tools. I don't think I've ever used a Rigid tool I don't like. Dan saying I got the crap kit from O'Reilly's and it works for me. Yeah, it works all right. Like I said, I've got one of the. It's an old Made in USA, nice Imperial kit, and it works well. I just don't have the little bit to do the double, but you know, it works. It works. I get down the road, you know. Sand Mountain Ballistic saying electric power steering ain't that something? Rose Grady saying Dad bought the Eastman. It's nice, but you have to use it on the bench. Buffdo Compo saying I like power steering by Armstrong. Yeah, I'm really a fan of the mechanical steering. The trucks like that, the Dodges like that. I mean, I'm really excited to finally drive that. Someday I'll drive that Dodge and it's going to feel great because that little power steering box feels so smooth. Or that little manual steering box. Danny Boyd saying I never tried stainless lines either and likely won't. Stainless is a pain in the ass. If you cut it with like a normal like thumb cutter, tubing cutter, it gets kind of too compressed and your flares want to split. So it's better to cut it with a bandsaw. And even then it's still damn brittle. I'm not a big fan of stainless. Coated steel's fine for me. Girls Garage is saying stainless steel brain lines are the 7th level of hell. I'm right with you, Brother Bear. They drive that, man. That was an experience for me. And again, it also depends on the quality of stainless steel tubing you get too. Because I mean, some of the cheaper Chinese stuff versus I think there's a couple brands you can get. The Summit Racing one's pretty good, I think. But there was one of them that was just pointlessly brittle. It was like they just didn't want you to flare it. Ad Zero saying, gonna get on. Sleep is here. Thanks everyone. Hope you all have a great week. Also Thanksgiving. Ad Zero, be safe, man. Drive slow. Drive the speed limit. Drive like 5 under the speed limit. Just kidding, brother. I love you, man. You be safe. Don't hurt nobody. Check your fluids. All saying I love a nice stainless steel exhaust tip. Makes a nice sound. Yeah, for exhaust, stainless is a great material. Don't get me wrong, but it's like for lines, for brake lines or hydraulic lines, it's a pain in the ass. Buffdo Compo saying Dean Stevenson, I never thought I'd design aircraft with fly-by-wire, but for the last 19 years, that's what I did. Oh, good Lord. That sounds terrifying. Dave Lewis is saying you can't double flare stainless. It needs to be a 37-degree flare. AN flare. Yeah, I have a lot of trouble with stainless. And it's a cool look. It is, you know what I mean? But it doesn't, for my own purpose, you know what I mean? It's not like I'm building anything performance or anything like that. So it's like, I'm just not a show car, so it's like, why am I going to be working with stainless? Barrels Garage is saying, I'm not a big fan of a lot of stainless steel stuff. Sometimes I want that to be the weak link so it doesn't break the expensive stuff. Yeah, that makes sense. Plus, it's harder to weld, too. It's a pain in the ass to weld. GTI Warrior is saying, hey, the factory lines have lasted over 60 years. No need to change materials. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Some new coated steel will be great. Hunter saying stainless should only be headers. Like I said, it's definitely got its place. It's not that I don't really like stainless. It's just, you know, I don't know. Stainless trim, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely got its place. It's just those. I think I'm just traumatized from the stainless steel brake lines I had to do. I had to do them on this rat rod truck too. The truck, it was a rat rod. It was a rat rod. Why? But Mopar Man saying stainless doesn't rust. I mean, it's fine. That's good. That's great. You know what I mean? I'd almost rather deal with the rust. Buff Del Campo saying just purge the backside of the stainless with argon. Yeah, definitely. You know what I mean? But yeah, you know what I mean? If you don't have provisions for that, it becomes an impossibility. But I hear you. You know what I mean? Obviously, you can get some really clean welds with the right rod and everything with the argon purge, nice TIG welder. You can definitely get some great welds on it. It's more difficult for the average person like myself. You know what I mean? I'm definitely far from a welder. I can weld for purpose, but I'm far from being a welder. Hunter saying, man, I looked up the specs on the cam in my Mustang, and that sucker is huge. I need a darn 2800 to 3200 stall. I was not expecting it either. Dan saying a Pinto converter. Olive saying things I'd be okay with someone more skilled manufacturing. Yeah, exactly. It's definitely not a strong suit. I've worked like the gentleman Mike I worked with, you know what I mean? I was right over his shoulder while he's welding stainless, and I mean, I'm sure I could do it. Not as well as him. That guy's full on guru, but you know, give me 30 years, maybe I can. What's going on with this? Why is it trying to? It's trying to censor you, Hunter. Like you're saying something bad. Barrel's Garage is saying it's a perfect fit. Stainless steel headers are great, but if you need to change them or massage them, mild steel all the way. Yeah, I like some stainless headers, especially some hand built stuff. They look beautiful, but. All saying a steel line made right is better than a stainless one you goofed up. Yep. Copper nickel lines, not too hard to bend and flare. Yeah, the copper nickel's great. I feel like it has a cool look too. Buff Del Campo saying Dean Stevenson, that's how I got into aircraft. It was easier to license scratch built planes than to license scratch built cars. That's pretty badass. Buff, do they still sell those old biplane kits? I'm saying, I bet Sans specs there looked like a spam bot to the machines. True. Barrow's Garage uses the copper nickel. Unfinished Garage is saying spicy steel over mild steel. I've never used the copper nickel as a fuel line, Barrows. How does your gas turn green or nothing? Buff Del Campo saying there are many aircraft kits, including some biplanes. That would be cool to get the biplane. That would be really great. Could be flying around a biplane listening to Wagner. Easy saying fuel lines. I use 3/8 aluminum thick wall. 3/8 aluminum thick wall. I've used a lot of the aluminum as well. Um, it's handy. It's easy to work with. I kind of prefer steel, but the aluminum is pretty damn forgiving. Barrel's Garage is saying handles the E really well, and it's easy to get in any parts store. I'm gonna have to try that, man. I didn't think of it. All I'm saying, hot machinists are waiting to lift your rockers. Email at grinding shafts 229 229 Unfinished saying all my tractors run copper line, works great. I remember I drained a tank that it was one of the old camper special systems, so it had a couple saddle tanks, and they were all plumbed. The main tank and two saddle tanks, and they were all plumbed with copper line. And when I drained the fuel, it all had a green tint to it. Buffdale Compost saying the last manned aircraft I did design work on was a Titan P-51 replica, not a biplane, but an old warbird. That's pretty badass, though. It'd be cool to have, the scarf and the goggles and everything in the biplane. GTI Warrior saying, Olive, don't threaten me with a good time. Oh, poor man saying, I bought the pre-bent brake line from inlinetube.com for a few bucks more. At the time, it was cheap, and I got the stainless steel lines. Pre-bent's not bad. I mean, if you want to save yourself the time, why the hell not? You know what I mean? That's something I'm lazy about it, but I'm very conscious of it. It was like the plumbing in the truck and unfinished project saying that was diesel. Sand Mountain Ballistics saying I'm calling it a night. Y'all have a great Thanksgiving. You too, Hunter. I appreciate you, man. Make sure to check your fluids. Check your turkey fluids. Buffalo Compost saying I flew a few biplanes. The visibility wasn't very good. I don't enjoy that very much. Yeah, that's probably terrifying when you're moving that fast. You need to be able to see. I guess I didn't consider that whole basically awning above you. You know what I mean? You kind of need to see there, huh? Yeah, that sounds completely terrifying. Because you don't know until you know. Can't have a Clark Griswold turkey. I still don't even know what I'm going to cook this year. I always do the basic fixings. But I'm such a cheap bastard that I wait until the day before Thanksgiving, and I'll usually buy a large cut of beef, like a rib roast. Or last year I got a big piece of New York steak, and it's on sale because they put it out, earlier this week, and then it's on sale next week. So I'm really bad about that. No poor man saying the kit was 150, all computer bent to match the factory specs for my 65 Dart. Nice, man. That's like I said, if it works, it works. You know what I mean? If it works, it works. But yeah, maybe a rib roast, a Cote de Buff, something of that sort. But I tend to prefer ham or beef to turkey. I do like eating some turkey, but it just takes more love. Charlie Roma's saying, good night to everyone. Have a great Thanksgiving. No turkey. Thanks so much for stopping in, Charlie. I appreciate you, brother. Be safe out there. Enjoy your Thanksgiving, man. Check your fluids. What is that, Joe Diffie, the good brown gravy song? Good brown gravy. All I'm saying, I love a good turkey dinner. There is something special about it, yeah. But again, the turkey takes a little more love. The beef is it's really hard to screw up. Which is good for me. Must be kind of hard being such a jive turkey, it being so close to Thanksgiving. See if I can get one for you, Dan. Yeah. Izzy saying, told the wife to get KFC on Wednesday for Thanksgiving. Never did it before. Hey, as long as you got something good to eat, it's always more about the company anyway, right? All I'm saying, to make sure I got the stuff to make my giblet gravy, right? Oh, that's the best. Damn. Unfinished saying, get everyone their own personal Cornish hen. I was tempted to do that too, unfinished. Try to do something in a Dutch oven. Because I really like stuffing Cornish hens with different stuff. And there's a kumquat tree out here. So I thought that'd be kind of cool to have the weird kind of tart citrus in there. I thought it might, I don't know. I had some ideas. Gary Dryden's in the chats. And hey, Ari, hope your week went well, man. Went really well, Gary. How are you, brother? How's it going? Barrel's Garage is saying we'll catch you all later. Good live, Ari. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. Thanks so much for stopping in, Brother Bear. Hope to see you before too long. Sometime next month, I think. But just the same, man. I always appreciate you. Have a great week. Happy Thanksgiving. Check your fluids, brother. Opar Man saying, if anybody here is planning on doing a master cylinder upgrade from a single to dual reservoir master cylinder in their 62 to 64A body with all drum brakes, I have the conversion kit. I like the single, Mopar Man. Less is more. Less is more. Izzy saying always have something different. Yeah, you got to switch it up. You know what I mean? Whatever. Like again, it's more about the company, right? It's not so much about the what you're eating. And saying haven't had KFC in a long time. Always loved their mashed taters and gravy. Good coleslaw too. X Specs got B bodies. Oh, jeez. I need to get on that dart. I do. I need to. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. My buddy, I told you guys last time that my buddy was moving out of his shop. He got kicked out of his shop, technically, which I was pretty sad about, because I was like, well, hell, you know what I mean? That's where I was going to work on well, he's not only, I'm not for personal reasons only, but that was, he's been in that shop for years, and that was where I was going to work on my Slant 6. But last time I spoke to him, he said he's got his eyes on another shop, which is bigger and a lot more lenient when it comes to working on cars. So I'll probably try to rent a corner of it from him, just to keep my tools and work on my crappy projects. Maybe even stuff my dart in there if he lets me. But so I'm hoping for that to happen. That should be next month. We'll see if that happens or not. And again, with more space, of course, comes higher rent. So if he wants, I'll throw him a few bucks so I can actually have a proper place to work on the dart. You know what I mean? It's been years and years of, well, not years and years, but it's been a couple years of me not having a proper place to work on it. I finally got the engine together, didn't have a place to work on a car. Got the engine in the car, realized the oil pan's wrong, or the engine mounts, one or the other. We don't know yet. We don't know. But just the same, I'm hoping to get back on it. And if he is able to score the bigger shop, that'll be a Jack Stands and Cinder Blocks is in the chat. What's going on, brother? How are you? Gary Dryden saying, I've been good. About to get my DA9 back on the road next month. But she has a bent shoe, and she was going to come. Going to get some new 7-spoke rims. Might as well dump another $1,000 in or get new tires and brakes. Hey, yeah, I feel you there, man. Can't hurt. Jack Stands and Cinder Blocks. You didn't miss much, man. We were talking about big old hangar fire that happened down here. We were talking about brake lines. We were talking about taxes. All the good stuff, man. How are you, brother? How's the project? Yes, all of saying presently on turkey dinner, brakes, and shops. But yeah, I'll I'm hoping to get back to work on that dart soon. I got stuff I need to do on the truck too, but I'll find a balance there. You know what I mean? Just because the truck runs well enough for my purpose. So if I could start getting the dart together, I'd be happy about it. Jack stand saying tires and brakes always important. Oh yeah, always important. Izzy saying happy Thanksgiving, y'all. God bless. Thanks so much for stopping in, Izzy. Always appreciate you, man. Mopar man saying when that single reservoir master cylinder goes out, the whole brake system quits. It's all right. Brakes are overrated, Mopar man. Jack stands at Cinderblock saying was planning to drive the Beast home for Thanksgiving. That truck is sweet, man. It's going to be a great drive. All yellow. I like that yellow a lot too. Very industrial. Jack stands saying, but work gets in the way, so I'll be driving a work truck home. Hey, whatever works, man. You know what I mean? It's again, I'm talking about the same thing right now, trying to find a balance between work and projects and where I'm working on them and how. So unfinished project saying asking Dean, your wife has an ion beam spectrometer? I just realized we got unfinished project pretty late, man. Are you taking the day tomorrow or are you just hanging out? Gary Dryden saying, yep, had her 13 years, never had to do the brakes till now. But that's why I drive manual. Brakes are just for holding you still or red lights. Yeah, pretty much. Being able to downshift is a blessing for sure. And also being able to stay in a gear that's kind of more according to your speed and traffic and everything else. Unfinished project saying Arby. It's one of those names, man. It's one of those names. They could have named me anything. I don't know if Mom's still on here. Mom, you could have named me anything. Mylar, Kevlar, irritable bowel syndrome. The scourge of the millennial youth, IBS. A lot of people at work that use that as an excuse to call in and everything else. And I always find it hilarious because, on the job sites I've worked, if they've ever been in the porta potty, you'll realize that everybody has IBS, but they keep working. So, come on. Unfinished project saying 12:13 here and feeling like I might start this into the weird hour. It's the weird hour since I started for sure. My show is the weird hour. Jack stands at Cinderblock saying the Arby's restaurant is a spin-off from the original name Arby's. I don't eat there much. Last time I ate there was with Ad Zero. And he had me get some kind of filet-o-fish sandwich. Because Ad Zero kind of eats like a... I don't want to say Ad Zero kind of eats like an old man. Yeah, he kind of does. Which was a better joke when he wasn't an old man. Time changes. Everything. Time was. Morris Day in the time. Time enough at last. Buff Tocampo saying, hey, I'm an old man. Buff, exactly. That's why, we could probably have breakfast together at the same place and be happy, man. I also eat like an old... People at work are like, dude, why are you eating hard-boiled eggs? I'm like, why are you eating cottage cheese? Same thing. I'm with you, man. Jack stands is saying, hey, we can't stop getting older. Yeah. It's funny for me, you know what I mean? Because I'm not too old, but a lot of my friends are older dudes, and it's I guess it's kind of different, from There's a difference from 40 to 50. Excuse me. Unfinished is saying I should be asleep. I'll regret it in a few hours. Yeah, how many hours did you say you put in this week, man? You were saying like 90 something or something ridiculous like that. Are you even paid hourly? Jack stands at cinder blocks and saying, I'm not old yet, but some of y'all are. Buff Del Campo saying, cottage cheese, what's wrong with it? Nothing, Buff. Nothing at all. Cottage cheese. It's a kind of a preferred breakfast of mine, a cottage cheese, and some kind of fruit. Buff Del Campo saying, President Nixon's favorite food. Tricky Dick like cottage cheese and ketchup? Damn. Jack stands in cinder blocks is saying, one of my techs had a full-blown stroke, 7 years younger than me. Damn, man, is he all right? Did you give him the stroke? Unfinished project saying, paid? Unfinished project saying a teaspoon of strawberry jam and a cup of cottage cheese is my go-to. Damn, I never thought of the jam. Out here, Unfinished, I always get, they got this pre-cut mango and Mexican Specs Nemesis, the mango. But if it's decently ripe, I'll get the mango and some cottage cheese, and I'll have a couple bananas, and that holds me down pretty good. Dean Stan, I thought he liked J.E. Hoover to decide on the next choice of side salad. Mopar Man saying, Ari, don't forget you have the Waffle House of live chats. It's my Waffle House. Jack Stans is saying he made a rapid recovery. He was trying to take some of the stress off me at work. He's my foreman. Nice, man. That's cool. He's coming back like that. That's good. Some people don't snap back that well. Gary Dryden saying oatmeal or grits with fruit is definitely a go-to. Yeah, oatmeal is another great one too. That's one of my jokes with my son when he's acting up. I say that he's going to eat nothing but oatmeal 3 meals a day. I'm going to make him dig holes in the backyard and fill them in. Jack Stan is saying devoted friend and employee. That's badass, man. As long as you guys are getting something done. Mexican Spec saying mango equals evil. It's his one true nemesis. The mango. Unfinished saying, what's a full-blown stroke? $20? Jack Stands saying we get a lot done. That's cool, man. I didn't know you ran a shop, man. I guess I don't watch enough videos to keep up. But that's really cool, man. It's good there's still people working like that privately out there and can run a tight ship and everything like that. Jack Stands saying mangoes make me crap a lot. Yeah, that's the idea, the fiber. You know what I mean? Because I'm eating pure cottage cheese and then a little bit of fiber and then the bananas, you know. Gary Dryden saying mango tastes all right, but the texture is awful. Mexican Spec says, you will have gruel and like it. Yeah, digging holes in the backyard with nothing but oatmeal to eat. I said it to him today. He says, I don't eat oatmeal. I just laugh. I love my son. And he also, I was incredibly proud of this, but I was messing with him, saying my oatmeal joke and everything, and he said that, you know what I'll do? I'll fart on your tools. And I'm so proud. I'm so damn proud of that. Jack Stan is saying I'm a manager at work. Some of my team members have been on the channel by their own choice, of course. Nice, man. I'll have to catch up on the videos. I've barely been watching anybody's videos for the past couple months. I've just been head up the rectum like normal, but yeah, I'll catch back up eventually. But yeah, the kid's gonna fart on my tools. I thought that was so hilarious. I'll fart on your tools. Like, yes. Like, he's like, what does Dad care about? Like his tools. Oh man. Anyway, guys, I'm probably going to call it for the night. We're right here at 2 hours, and I've been running my mouth for a little too long, and I got work pretty early in the morning, so I'm going to go ahead and call it. I appreciate everybody stopping through, and you guys are awesome always. I hope everybody has a solid week, prosperous week. Everybody have a great Thanksgiving. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. If you're not celebrating, whatever, have a great week just the same. Hope it's uplifting. And as GTI Warrior is saying here, everybody check your gravy. No, seriously, check your fluids, guys. I appreciate you. You guys be safe. Don't hurt nobody. Again, I got to say it twice. Check your fluids. Thanks, guys.